Hey everyone, it's Joy here for Honeybee Stamps, and today I created this pretty floral card using just ink blending. So let's start by getting our background going. I'm using the Wood Planks 3D embossing folder on white cardstock. I will run that through my die cut machine, and then I want to do also a little bit of stenciling. I'm going to be using the Quatrefoil stencil, and as of filming right now, it is on sale at Honeybee Stamps for just $1, so I will have that listed and linked for you below in the description. I'm just going to use some Cloud Whip, and I don't want to stencil over the whole background, just some of the areas to give this a little extra texture, a little more interest, and then I can set this aside to dry until I'm ready to continue working with this background. Now I have die cut the bold background Plumeria die. I am not going to use this whole die, but it is meant to be on the whole A2 size card. I am going to do ink blending, of course, and I am using bundled sage on this background piece. I will use peeled paint for the leaves, and then I will use tattered rose and ripe persimmon for the flowers. And some of these flowers do have some layering, so I'm going to do that. I did have to die cut the flowers and leaves a couple of times, so if you're going to use the whole background, you need to die cut a couple of times to get enough flowers and leaves. I'm starting with the tattered rose. I adhered all my flowers to a piece of low tack tape. That way it's just easy to ink blend these. This is easy ink blending, you guys. I just want to get the color on here, and I don't want it perfect, so I am kind of leaving the tips of the flowers a little bit lighter than in the center. And then I'm going to come back in and use one of Honeybee Stamps. It's the B-Lux blending brushes. It's the size 7, and I'm going to add ripe persimmon just to the centers of the flowers, lightly going out into the petals, just to give this some more interest a little bit and a little bit more detail. So I'm going to do that to all of my flowers, even some of the parts that you're not going to see. I just did it anyways, just in case. I'm kind of a just in case person. So at the base of some of the petals and the open flowers from the center out. So now that we have all of those ink blended, let's glue these together. Like I said, some of these are layering. The big open ones don't layer, but like this little one does layer. It has 1, 2, 3, 4 layers on this one. So that little tiny, tiny, tiny piece right there is going to go on the outside of that petal. Then you have these flowers that are just kind of from the side view, maybe not open all the way. I'm going to glue those together, and then we have these little buds that I am also going to glue together. And I do have some other flowers that I ink blended because, again, I had to die cut these twice, but I'm just going to show you these, and the other ones I will do off camera. But really super simple how these are going to lay out. This one I forgot to grab that piece too on my left side, so I take that petal off here in just a second. Then I put this other piece on and then that petal on. So pop that in place, and then I can glue that little petal back on. So now we're going to have all of our flowers. We can start adhering that to that background piece. Again, I'm not using the whole piece. I want to see that wood plank stencil or 3D embossing folder, and I want to see the stenciling that we did. So I'm going to start by adhering our leaves. Just again using some liquid glue. The leaves go down, the smaller flowers go down, and then you have your big flowers that go on top of it because it kind of covers up some of the stems and things, and that's how it's supposed to. So I'm just going to put these guys in place. I did have to, again, die cut for one more leaf on this. Again, you'd have to die cut twice for the whole panel. Now that those are in place, we can start getting these flowers in place. It's really super easy to line these up. I think this is a great die. This is obviously from an older release, but it's really a great one to have in your stash because, again, it does cover a full A2 size, but you don't have to use it that way. It's definitely fun to have products in your stash that you can use differently. So you may already have this in your Honeybee Stamps collection, and you can pull it out and do something different with it. So I think we just have a few more flowers to put in place. I think these flowers right here, these smaller ones that have the layers, I think they're my favorites on here. I think they look really, really pretty. So I'm going to put those in place. I did already kind of lay this out on my card panel so I could see what flowers I needed. So I'm going to add another one here. And because I forgot to add that first before I added that big flower, I have to trim that little long stem piece off. Now that my background stenciling is dry, I am using Speckled Egg Distress Oxide ink, and I'm going to ink blend over the whole background. I think that's just the theme of this whole card is ink blending. Super easy ink blending. I think this makes for quick cards even when you have to color a lot of flowers. Ink blending is the way to go. And I'm doing it a little bit splotchy. And then I'm bringing in Distress Spritz in Weathered Wood because I thought that would be fun to have on that background. I added a bunch of foam squares behind my flowers because I do want this to be popped up with foam adhesive. And then I can lay this in place and then just trim the excess off with some scissors. But now you can still see that beautiful wood plank background and that fun stenciling. So I think this turned out really nicely. So let me get that trimmed off there. Now the sentiments that I am going to be using is the Best of Everything sentiments. I am also using the coordinating dies for that. I'm adding a couple more pieces of foam adhesive on some of those flowers right there at the top. Oh, excuse me, before we get to the sentiment, I did splatter some more with Picket Fence Distress Spray, and I splattered this very heavily. I wanted a lot of white splatter all over the flowers and all over the background. Now that that's done, I can work on my sentiment. I'm just going to stamp it in black ink. It says, "Hello, my friend, wishing you the best of everything." I really like this stamp set. It kind of has a little bit of everything, like, you know, thinking of you, hope you get feeling better, praying for you. I think this is a really good stamp set. So I'm going to tape those coordinating dies in place and run this through my die cut machine. And of course, I'm going to add some foam adhesive behind that. I'm going to go with 2mm foam adhesive, which is what I used behind the flowers. And because I left that spot open on the bottom right of the card, that's a perfect spot for these sentiments to fit. I will adhere my card to a white A2 size card base. Just going to adhere that down. And then let's put our sentiments on. And then I also brought in some of Honeybee Stamp's gem stickers from the Americana. They are the Americana gem stickers, excuse me. And I just wanted something white to go into the centers of the flowers, because we did do that white splatter and I just like the clean look of the white, and we have white on our sentiments. So I just think add white to the centers of these. You also could use like a Nuvo crystal drop or a pops of color, but these gem stickers are perfect because you don't have to wait for anything to dry, especially if you are in a hurry. So I'm going to pop a few of those in place and then we can take a look at this card up close. I love, love, love that wood plank 3D embossing folder. I love the stenciling, that they all just kind of blend together, and those beautiful flowers, of course, with all of that easy ink blending. So I hope you guys enjoyed this project. I hope you guys feel inspired by it, and I hope you guys have a really wonderful day, and I'll be back soon with another video.